Testing. Captain's log. This is Captain. Welcome back. This is another transmission going out to the infinite interweb of space and time. Oh, I've been away. I have been traveling out. I took a trip out into the jungle, do some exploration, and I was gone a few weeks, I think. I don't really know. What is time? What is time when you're stranded on a foreign jungle planet, millennia away from where you were born and raised? But yes, I took a trip. I went out. I've been gone doing things. I went out to the coast, the Great Coast, where there's a big ocean. I went to the Great North, doing a lot of things. But man, I am beat down. I am feeling weak, feeling tired, feeling run down, but that's how it goes. It's all right. It's part of the journey. But we're here and we're making another log, to keep track of life and what's going on out there. Some of you may have figured out that, as I mentioned on the last transmission, there's some birds out there. The transmissions have successfully made it onto YouTube. I was also lucky enough to be able to hack my way into a couple other servers on Spotify and Apple Music, so you may find these transmissions out there as well. However, video transmission still remains scattered and inconsistent across the rest of the internet, with unreliable connection to platforms like Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, Facebook, etc. That's just how it goes. Some of the communication systems are down on the ship. I don't know how long that will be, but it has remained challenging to get the message out to anybody who might be out onto some of those platforms, which is all right. We got a few. Conveniently, your boy can hack his way in. But there is one reliable uplink has been made. The portal is the only one that's been able to consistently be able to feed content to and bridge a backdoor from the ship here in the jungle to the rest of the world. So if you want to stay connected with the rest of that, that's where you can find it. You can find the portal on Discord, on the Common Garden Discord, along with my website. That's the only place that I've been able to get the reliable uplink, But that's how it goes. Everywhere else, I'm going to say, one more time, anywhere else is inconsistent, but I'm going to keep trying to push the message out, and we're going to see. But, regardless, that's all right. I'm enjoying my time out here in the jungle. It's been good. The break's been nice. I've been doing a lot of reading, even on my journey exploring out in the jungle, doing some other stuff. I've been reading a lot. I since last time I had started the Brian Eno's his diary, his book, Brian Eno's book, which is his diary from 1998. It's the whole year, right? So it was really interesting, and I cruised through that thing. And man, if you didn't know, your boy loves Brian Eno. I just want to take that man's sweet little bald head and wrap my arms around it and just give him a little on top and say, "Such a sweet little man. You're just a sweet little baby, little baby producer, Brian Eno. I'm gonna kiss you on the head because you deserve it." But for real, I cannot tell you enough how much I enjoyed this book, because I felt like for the first time in a long time, I don't want to say never, that feels maybe inaccurate, but for the first time in a long time, I feel like I felt understood, or I felt seen by myself, perhaps, because I feel like the way this man thinks is like kind of like how I think, and obviously we're humans and we draw all these inaccurate connections between ourselves and other people, but I'm just saying, this man is awesome, and it was just really refreshing to like read something where I was like, dang, I guess maybe I should just like keep doing me, because like in the past, every time I have a conversation with someone, albeit a great conversation, and we talk about great stuff and we definitely connect, or on the same page about a lot of things, but there's always like this like underlying like something of is just not quite, which why would it be? They're them and I'm me, and we're never going to be the same. But I feel like we're always, me especially, I'm going to say we because I'm going to generalize, but we're always seeking some amount of connection or feedback from someone else that helps us like feel understood, right? That's all we're looking for. That's all we're looking for out here. And I just was always kind of left with a little bit of like this like isolation feeling of like, I just can't quite connect with other people the same way. And reading this book was like, dang, I think maybe we kind of think similar. I don't know. And of course I'm just like glamorizing my own life trajectory, just hoping to God I someday touch songs the way Brian Eno has touched songs. But man, I cannot, I'm sorry, but this whole show is going to end up just being a dedication to Brian Eno. It's just going to be just love poems to Brian Eno, which to quote one of my favorite quotes I came across in the book, an excerpt was, "Smother me, mother me." Well, sorry, the full thing is erotic songs to older women. Smother me, mother me. He just has all these like little random thoughts and observations. It almost feels like high thoughts. I don't think he's high. I don't know. He's probably just high on life and creating, but smother me, mother me is poetic, really. And that's what I would like to dedicate this to Brian Eno. Brian Eno, you are my mother. Oh God. I just love, he has just like this whimsical, like quirky way of observing the world and just kind of like having an opinion about it, which great. I feel like any great artist is just constantly observing. And so he is just like always like, oh, went to lunch today at this little place in wherever, Britain, and had a salad and steak, and the steak was poorly seasoned, but the ambiance was made up for the lack of service. And he sounds way too proper in this. This is a terrible fucking example. There's a hold on. I'm gonna find it because it does. I need to do this justice. There's one where he's talking about he goes to an airport. Let me find this. He's in a Amsterdam airport or Zurich airport. Right? Is this it? Oh fuck. I'm going to derail this whole thing just to find... Oh, wait. I found it. Here we go. Disappointment. No sex shops. That's the best thing about German airports. One of the frustrations of life is never finding precisely the pornography you want. Extraordinary that sex fun is so hard to get. I mean, you should be able to advertise man seeks position as sofa for large lady and get lots of sensible replies, for example. Like he's in this airport. He observes that there's not nearly the same amount of sex shops in this Amsterdam it's probably not Amsterdam, but whatever the Amsterdam or whatever the airport he's in, compared to German airports. And then through that observation, he's like, it's like he lays into a bit. Like he's like, that is easily the best thing about German airports. And isn't that just frustrating? You know, you can just see the comedian being like, isn't that just frustrating that you can never find precisely the type of pornography you want? And so I just love this little quippy energy he tosses into everything. And I feel like it makes the serious art of art a little bit more fun, a little bit more humorous. I mean, comedians are definitely artists, by all means. But oftentimes I feel like you're not thinking about the traditional musician or fine artist as a comedian, and or vice versa. Comedians as artists, whatever. So, Smother Me, Mother Me, Brian Eno. I loved this book, so I would recommend it to all y'alls out there. Like I said on the previous transmission, coming off the YouTube bender, entering into the Brian Eno bender was a great segue, and I just couldn't put it down. I couldn't stop reading it. After the whole excerpt of the year of his journal, he puts a bunch of extra readings. Like throughout the journal, he'll be like, like for example, pagan funware was a concept that he came up with to raise money for his nonprofit War Child. And so they made an event called Pagan Funware, and it was a fashion show that a bunch of musicians donated their time to create all the fashion, right? So it was like David Bowie and like people from U2 and Bjork and all this shit, and they would make the clothes for the other musicians to bid on. And so he'll talk about Pagan Funware, and then he'll put like see page 394 for Pagan Funware. It's kind of like a glossary, but he goes way more in depth, and he talks about he'll really get into the depth of, well, where did I come up with this concept? A little bit more about it. Here's what I've found, because I don't remember when the book was published, but since you can see there's like a lot of these like concepts he's toying around with throughout the book, and so probably since writing it and then since it being published, he's made a little bit more progress on a lot of these concepts. So he then writes a few more things, or a couple pages on a concept, or just random things that he thinks are kind of interesting. He's written a couple short stories that are in there that are actually really good, really captivating, really interesting, kind of Black Mirror in a way. So I don't know. Can't go on enough about it. So check it out, please. It was great. I have a couple excerpts that I like. I'm like, I mean, there were so many. Obviously, Smother Me, Mother Me, number one in my heart. But when I'm like reading stuff, I'm like I want to find something that like shatters my world. Granted, I'm particularly reading nonfiction, but I'm curious, right? I'm trying to learn more. I'm trying to expand my view on everything and my perception of the world, and like how I view it working and all that stuff. So I'm seeking whoever the author is to level me, right? Like tell me some shit I did not know, and like make me go, that's interesting. How does that fit into my paradigm of the world? And then sort of like, weigh it around and be like, oh, actually that does make sense, or challenge my pre-existing beliefs. And Brian had a lot of those. Really, like his perspective on things, especially coming from a similar world of producing and working in music, and just general appreciation of art. And I have a big fascination with culture as well. He's always bringing up questions. There's a lot of the things in here are letters he wrote to Stuart Brand, and Stuart Brand's a pretty interesting person if you haven't heard of him. But he wrote this thing called the Whole Earth Catalog back in the 70s, 80s. Steve Jobs cites the Whole Earth Catalog as being a really influential thing for him. And I don't know, it's really cool to see all these connecting minds interlink, right? And so he'll always be writing Stuart Brand like, here's a question for you. What do you think about this? And excuse me. He's like, what do you think about this? And like, here's a question for you. I just saw this interesting segment on TV about how smell isn't actually about the different glands or the molecules hitting different glands of your noses. It's actually about the vibrational frequency of the molecules accustomed to those smells. Custom maybe isn't the right word. And he's like, so what do you think about that? And they're just like exchanging these letters and thoughts like nonstop all the time. And so, yeah, it was just so great to get these insights about life and art and music and all this stuff. So there was a couple that I wanted to pull out, and a lot of them are kind of deep. And it's like, I don't even know if I can get into it, because it's like, here's one. He says, culture is everything we don't have to do. Okay, just slide that one in there. I mean, he's right though, right? Like, culture comes from anything you get to make a choice on, a decision, to solve a problem. Like I said last time, like whether it's your hair, how you choose, you don't have to cut your hair, but if you choose to cut your hair, that is now a defining characteristic of the culture, or whomever chooses to cut their hair in a similar sense or solution is forming a culture. Yes? But that's food. You don't have to cook food with a certain flavor or add certain spices or a certain way, whether it be over a fire or whatever. But whole cultures are defined by their food and what they choose to cook or what their availability is and all that stuff. So I'm just like, wow, this guy's really just like thinking of some shit. And that's kind of what I do sometimes. So it's kind of dope. Another one that hit me is the problem with introspection is that it has no end. I just need to marinate in that for like a little bit, because I am a hyper introspective person. While I think it's helpful, I don't think it's helpful that it has no end. So that's a problem. I think, if I remember correctly, I think that one came from a conversation with Bono, where they were like in the car talking about their upcoming record, and I'm just like, well, we can think about this all we want, but it's never going to stop. We're never going to get to an arrival, which is it's a little bit of a trap, I'd say, and I would do well to avoid that maybe sometimes. But another one that really stood out to me was because it reminded me a lot of something I struggle with. So the quote is, and for context, he says, as the Passengers reviews roll in, Passengers is a project that he did with a couple members of U2, Pavarotti, and some other people. They just made an album. It was a little bit like a conceptual thing, and they called it Passengers, and they released it, I think in 98. So he says, as the Passengers reviews roll in, once again, oh, that was a weird throat noise. Once again, the bad feeling in his stomach, at the disparity between the spirit in which things are done, joy, enthusiasm, curiosity, fascination, and that in which they are so often received, cynicism, jadedness, resentment, and that massive contradiction, right? Like, why is it so hard to keep the same spirit for both? And it reminded me a lot of something that I have really started struggling with almost more, I want to say, because of the relationship that has become sharing something, and then often when you share something, how it's received and the feedback you get. But even with sending out the last transmission, I was like, I went from sitting down to make this thing that I wanted to do for like a while. I've had this idea for like, I don't know, more than a year for sure. Just never quite found the right space or had space to do it. So I decided to just do it. I sit down and I did it, and I just kind of winged it. I just did it. And I finished and I was like, oh, that was actually really fun. Wow, it feels really good. Cool. So now I guess I got to share it. I got to put it out there, whatever. And I am, as soon as I uploaded it, and then as soon as I like posted the thing, I felt this like weird dissonance, and I was like, oh, I'm like anxious. I'm suddenly anxious about this thing that I was so proud of and so happy making. And now I'm like, I don't know, I'm like anxious, fearing whether it's fearing the reception or the feedback that's, always going to have some amount of negativity in it. But I just couldn't believe how I went so quickly from stoked to, ugh, I hate this. Not I hate what I made, but I hate having to go share this thing where it feels like you're like asking people to, I don't know. I'm not like asking people to like it. I just want to share it. But inherently, I think it's the posting. It's the social media-ness of it, I think. I don't know. I can't even put my tongue on it, my finger or tongue on it. I can't quite do it because I don't know what it is. I don't know why. And I literally felt that way about doing this thing. And I was like, wow, if I could just not touch social media, I would feel way better about it. I would just, thank God, at this point, thank God that we're struggling with communications between a lot of the places online, and video transmission is getting scrambled, because if they were open lines and I had to just pummel them with content and data, I hate that shit. Maybe it works for some of y'all, but I like that. I'm just gonna, it's only gonna get where it goes. Does that make sense? It's only gonna get to where it goes. I don't know. It's only gonna get where it goes. Now go on, get out there and go. Go on now and get out there. Go on, get out there and go. Get out there and go to getting so you can get or go. And you better get going so you don't get got. Right? All right. Yeah. All that being said, that's how it goes. And honestly, I think it's for the best. So whatever. But I thought that was very interesting. So if someone is as lovely and splendid and bald and as Brian Eno, then if he feels that way, I think it's okay that I feel that way, and perhaps some of y'all too. So just remember, it's all in the spirit of doing, right? The spirit of the fun of which it was had, and there's going to be that weirdness that comes after. Just try not to worry about it. I think the more you can practice consciously to not, the better. And, after finishing the Brian Eno book, I went right on to the Rick Rubin, The Creative Act. And his is a lot of that. It's a lot of the don't worry about, the what comes after. It's all about the act of doing and getting in touch with your creative side and doing it for you and getting closer to the pureness of who you are and not trying to be someone you're not, and being open to what just comes through you. It's a little flowery. I'm not enjoying it as much as I thought I would, which is kind of a bummer. You see the man's oh my God, the man's online presence is great. I love he does this single post, delete it, do the next, kind of cryptic but very kind of philosophical stuff. It's great. It looks like a great relationship he's established for that. And a lot of his reels and stuff following the release of this book and doing the podcast circuit and all that, popping up everywhere. So I was kind of stoked to read it, but I don't know. It's like I said, I'm seeking somebody to rock my world, and his is just like a little bit too like loose and flowery and like Yes, it's all in through you of being open, of which the music can come, and art is everlasting. Is kind of the vibe, and by all means, I agree. Bless, but I. It's like he just keeps saying the same thing over and over again. The book's like relatively decent sized. Where is it? It's not over there. Oh well. I don't know. It's thicker than like a Steal Like an Artist, like a coffee table book. But I honestly feel like the book might have been a little bit better if he just took like a lot of the posts he does. I don't know if they're excerpts or just things he comes up. They're definitely quotes of his, right? So I don't know if he's just like got a book of these. But if he just would have made a book of those single page things to chew on, and that's it, I think it'd be more enjoyable for me because it just gets to feel like he's just repeating a lot of the same thing over and over and over and over and over again. And I kind of imagined the book was written to be chilling in a studio that had some things to think about, and it just doesn't quite feel like it's as digestible in that context. And maybe it wasn't made for that. I don't know. I don't fucking know, but I'm just saying you just could have made it a little coffee table book and it would have been great. That's my opinion about that. But nevertheless, yeah, I cruised right onto that book. But read the Brian Eno book. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm going to say. But yeah, because here's the other thing. I'm going to bring this back. So stick with me here. Regarding the I made the last transmission being like, finally, I did that thing. And for the first time, and while I was making it, right, I was like, fuck, this is so chaotic. I'm just all over the place. And I don't even know what I'm saying because I'm just like, it's frankly a little different to like, I'm used to doing live stream stuff with the chat. At least the chat has like some input into the conversation. But like when you're just like talking to a camera and maybe you have a couple notes, like you're just kind of winging it. You're ad-libbing it, right? So if you think too much, you're kind of like going to get in your own way, at least for me. And so I was just kind of winging it. And I feel like I'm blacked out briefly. It's kind of what it feels like for me. Like if I get on stage, I enter performance mode and you just can't think. You just kind of got to react. You just got to go, right? So some of y'all might relate to that. But for me, it's like performance mode. And even right now, I'm like, I'm just going. I don't even know where I'm going to go next. I'm just going to go because if I were to stop and be like, what to say next? You'll just get caught up. You get stuck in the mud. And I can't do that. I don't want to do that. That's not the point, right? It's a good exercise, just kind of for someone like me who's overthinking. And to quote Brian Eno, the problem with introspection is that it has no end. That's not good. So I need to just kind of, I just got to get it out of there. So anyways, after doing this thing, I'm like, wow, that actually went all right. And I went back and I watched it, and it wasn't nearly as chaotic as I thought it was, which is kind of good. I felt like I brought it back around. I was like, dang, all right, okay. I guess maybe I can do that and not worry. Like it's like I was like definitely too insecure that I was like being too chaotic and like not really giving y'all like structure or anything to follow a through line. It was just a mess, but it wasn't. I actually felt like I hadn't somehow subconsciously knew where I was going. And the other thing on top of that, insecurity wise, is I fucking said this cringe shit. I made multiple cringe references, and I'm like, sorry if this was cringe, sorry cringe. And you know what? I take that shit back. I take it all back because you know what that was? That was just insecurity. That was just like, I do definitely do this thing where it's like, it's the self-deprecating, like, oh, if I can beat you to the call out, then it doesn't affect me, right? So I'm going to call it out now, even if it's not. I'm going to call it out now so that if you call it out later, it's too bad, I already beat you. So, and I did that, and I was like, honestly, it was cringe that I said it was cringe. So I was like, we're not doing that anymore. We're done. We're done with that, okay? So we're only doing we're being confident in what we're having to say. There's no regrets, okay? Because I don't care if anyone thinks it's cringe, even if you do. I don't care. There. But here, on top of that, I felt like I got a message from the universe because I watched that new movie, Anyone But You, with Sydney Sweeney and that the man who looks like a capybara. So I'm so sorry I don't know your name. All I know is that apparently that's a meme that I've been told. I haven't even seen the meme, to tell you the truth, but I kind of could see it watching it, right? Fun fact about me, though, is listen very closely. I love rom-coms, like, a lot. I don't know what it is. They just feel nice. They feel nice and warm. I dig it. And this one was no exception. Oh, God, do I love a good, what do you call it? Destination wedding rom-com filled with miscommunications and eventually a happy ending. God damn it. It's good. It's good shit. And man, also Sydney Sweeney, smother me, mother me, because where did you come from? I don't even know. I mean, I know I'm a little out of the loop on this planet, but you are a fine specimen and a beautiful and intelligent lady. And so are you, Capybara Man. You're a nice man. Not a lady, but a nice man. What a heartthrob. Both them folks. But honestly, I liked it. It was quirky and fun. Anyways, where I'm going with this is, so there's a point in the movie, if you haven't seen the movie, basically the whole premise is that they're trying to trick the friends that they are into each other. Basically. There's more, but just watch it. It's good. And so they're on this yacht, you know, as one does in a destination wedding. They're on this yacht, and she's like, quick, do the Titanic thing with me on the front of the boat, you know, where you stick your arms out and then you like hold me and it's really cute, right? So, and he goes, oh, I don't want to do that. That's so cringe. And she's like, you know what else is cringe? Saying cringe. Saying cringe is cringe. And I was like, damn, you fucking got me. It is. It kind of is. Because you know what's cringe? No confidence, self-deprecation. That shit's cringe. And so I take all that shit back. Y'all can suck it because that was cringe. So yeah. Anyways. Smother me, mother me, Sydney Sweeney. Sorry, I just had to get that out because it was in my soul. So that's where I'm going with all of that. And yeah, so I went from this insecure ride of making this thing, and then I went back and I watched it and I was like, oh, I actually did the thing. That was enjoyable. I chuckled watching through my own shit, which is nice because like sometimes it's weird to watch yourself back and see yourself do things, especially when you make multiple cringe references and you're cringing by your cringe. And I'm going to stop saying cringe now. Are we allowed to say it? We're not going to say it. Anyways. It's weird sometimes, and you're like, oh, I wish I didn't do that. But I like got through it, and I was like, oh, shit. Okay. I kind of enjoyed that. And honestly, I enjoyed making it. So I hope some people enjoy viewing it. If it gets anywhere out there, right? And so I'm like, okay, cool. I'm going to go send it out, fire up the comms station and send it out to the galactic interweb. And then as soon as it like hit, it was like, I was like, ugh, I hate that. I hate that I'm like now, as soon as something touches social media, it feels like it's like, hey, look at me, please. Hey. And like, I've never been that guy. You know, guys or girls, but let's be honest, it's usually a guy. You know, the guys who are, hold on, I'm going to kick my feet up for this shit here. Yeah. Oh yeah, that's the shit. Okay. You know, the guys who are like, at a party, we're going to call them the Wonderwall guys. you know the guys who break the guitar out at the party for no goddamn reason and start singing Wonderwall to impress some people? They're screaming, "Look at me, look at me." And I never related. I just wasn't the guy. I wasn't going out of my way for someone to be like, oh, you play guitar? Oh, that's sick. Oh, you can sing? Oh, that's sick. Oh, you should totally sing for me. Oh, you should totally. And then like you start singing and they just don't stop. Yeah. I just couldn't relate. Never was me. So that's why I hate that it feels like that's what any social media platform is now, is it's just like, hey, look at me, please. And that's just weird energy. It just kind of has this desperation to it. It kind of, I don't know. I can't relate. I am struggling to relate with it at this point. So I couldn't believe that I went from this like stokedness. Write that one down. I went from this stokedness to just dissonance. Stokedness to dissonance. It's not as good. And so yeah, I fucking forgot where that was leading. All I'm saying is I don't know. That's something to be aware of, but I'm gonna try to not worry about it because I'm just firing these guys off. You know, it's captain's log over here. I'll tell you what, I've enjoyed doing this. Enjoyed chatting to me. It also is nice because it gives me a chance to like reflect on things that I think about a lot. So like these Brian Eno quotes, like I'm like, shit, that was like really interesting. So then if you write it down and bring it up later, you can kind of like go back and think about it, talk about it, and kind of maybe come to new revelations, right? So, excuse me. So, yeah, that was my experience with that. Oh yeah, and I should have brought this up like 30 minutes ago. Also, watching back, I realized that I didn't do the homework. I specifically said there's homework, and it's gonna be what we're listening to for context, right? You know, to be like, okay, where's their headspace at? What are they doing? What are they into? You know, and so I did not even. I just got to the end and I just forgot. So we're gonna cover what I was. Well, I think I've still pretty much been listening to the same stuff. So I'm gonna slap some on you here, and y'all can go check these out and listen, and maybe find something new. But so following the U2 book and then into the Brian Eno book was listening to U2, right? I was definitely getting down to some U2, and man, U2 I feel like got a bad rep of maybe it was just Bono and by association, but it's like everyone's like, yeah, we get it. You're Bono, you're a one name guy like Feather, and you wear shades, you're stun of shades, and you're always socially proactive and trying to save the world, and you're in a big band, and we fucking get it. You're a rock star. But reading this shit and listening to through their discography, man, that band grew and tried a lot of shit and really, I don't know, really are in constant pursuit of their craft, and I think that's pretty cool. And the other thing is one of my favorite bands is Coldplay, also produced, or Brian Eno produced some of their records. And Coldplay is just U2 V2. It's U2 episode 2 reloaded, back for more, revenge of U2. And you can really tell if you look at, like, especially Johnny Buckland's guitar playing is very it feels very edge inspired. It's very grandiose and singular arpeggiated type riffs drenched in reverb and delay, and it's really a defining characteristic of not only U2 but a lot of Coldplay songs too. It's very very Bucklandy. But so I guess it's of no surprise to me that I was digging the U2. But there's just so many. They have this anthemic like. I love anthems. I love this anthemic. It has this like inspirational, uplifty kind of. And man, they nail it. And you know what? Part of that I think is I think it's the Brian Eno, especially the ones I like. The U2 tracks I like are definitely Brian Eno touched. Like Brian Eno did the Unforgettable Fire, Joshua Tree, Octung Baby, and the one with A Beautiful Day on it. And another one, something about lines, the great lines. I don't know. I'm gonna look that up quick. U2. It was No Line on the Horizon. That's it. And then All That You Can't Leave Behind. Oh, he also did Zooropa, I guess, but I kind of bundle that into Octung Baby. Maybe that's bad of me. Anyways, the ones I love are these anthemic. I don't know. They kind of, honestly, a little bit of like religious undertones. That kind of likeness. But the thing is Brian Eno is a big gospel guy, and you can hear a lot of that, I think, on Joshua Tree for sure. But I'm really drawn to those tracks, like Where the Streets Have No Name, or Still Haven't Found What I'm Looking For, or With or Without You. They just have that like soul, I guess. I don't fucking know. Same with Coldplay songs, anthems, right? Like is it Milo Xyloto? I think it's Xyloto, not Milo Xyloto. I always say that wrong. Milo Xyloto, because it's about having xylophone toes, I think is the quote. Like Paradise, or Charlie Brown, or like even Viva La Vida. Those songs have this anthemic soul to them. I think it's the Brian Eno. I think it's the gospel-y, like, I don't know. And so I love those tracks. So on Joshua Tree, those are the massive hits, right? I didn't connect as much with like the other half of the record that's like a little bit more. It feels Americana-ish, like. I don't want to say Western, not like country music, but I don't know. If you listen to it, you can kind of tell. So I listened to a lot of that, but I listened to each record, each same thing. I listened to each U2 record as he talked about it in the book, but I found myself still going back to some of those original anthems. So yeah, turns out U2's actually kind of dope. And you were wrong about them. So give that a spin. That's one. The others, I guess. I've been on a good Big Daddy Skrillex line here. I've been doing a lot of investigating into. This is a complete 180 from U2, but I've been really investigating this side of dance music that's like rave, but in a jungle. Does that make sense? Like, I'm talking like undergroundy-ish, warehousey rave in a jungle. And I don't mean like warehouse like techno. I mean like, oh, fuck, I don't know. This is hard to pinpoint. It's like jungle-ish, but high energy danceability. And not too aggressive. It's like you're not crossing over into bass music. It's still got a bounce and like a mysterious kind of tribalness to it, but it's also has some melodic elements. That's the old feather there, is the melodicism. So I'm like, I find Skrillex hits that at certain points. He has some at least on the last record, some wonky bassness, but there are some tracks that really hit that high energy, like Ratata, or like Selecta, or even jungle or rumble, sorry, rumble in the jungle. It's Fred again has similar energy. They both, you can tell there's this crossover of like influence, and I think it's part of that sort of UK underground scene. It's that garagey, breakbeaty house stuff. But man, the nuance of that dance, underground dance energy is something they share and they cross over with here and there. And so I've been really curious about that because I've noticed there's a jungliness that pokes its head out every now and then, and I'm like, ooh, what's that? I want to know what that is more, or figure that out. So I've been jamming that. Big Daddy Skrillex never leaves rotation. Same with Fred. Another one. Here's another one for you. You might need to get deep into this one. Is Jacob Collier, because this man is a prodigy. I saw a link the other day that my friend sent me, and it was, we interviewed Gen Z's Mozart. I mean, lofty claim, but damn, if someone's going to do it, it might be him, because this man is like that perfect pitch type, crazy progression, like change, key signature or time signature rather, and really like nuts jazz and pop infused, and he can sing, and I don't know. But look this guy up if you don't know, because I just, not to get too self-deprecating here because we don't like that shit, but man, we were watching his videos and I was just like, if this guy's a musician, like, what am I? What do I do? What do I think I do all day? Because it's not this. It's not what this guy does. I don't know. It's incredible. It really is. It's fascinating. And he also has really cool videos to pair with it as well. And I've really noticed that I've really enjoyed songs or musicians who fuse really interesting and artistic videos in with their music. You know, kind of even like the Bo Burnham Inside type stuff. It's like I really am curious about adding that other element. I've always loved video stuff. When I was younger, I used to only make videos with my friends. This is before music. Like, I mean, I like played piano, right? I went to piano lessons, but I didn't join my first band until 8th grade. So me and my boys, my friends, got way into videos, making videos in like 6th grade, like summer school shit, right? And so we just would we'd come over and be like, hey, do you want to come over and play? This is back when you called it playing. And you'd be like, yeah. I love it. My one friend Luke would always be like, hey, do you want to come play? Can we bring that back? Because that's just so heartwarming. When was the last time that you asked your friend to come play? When was the last time you played in general? I couldn't even tell you when the last time I played was. Maybe this is playing. I kind of feel like this is playing. I feel like this, whatever the fuck this is, remember, it's not a podcast, it's an experience. This feels like new vlogging to me. And vlogging feels like the new whatever I was doing back then. Because this was before vlogging, before there was any interest in that. We would make skits. It was basically like skit work, right? It was like Tin Robinson type shit. That's why that guy speaks to my soul, because we were literally making weird ass shit like that back then. And we would like come up with something weird. It always involves some type of slapsticky, violent humor where somebody gets hurt, right? Because that's funny indefinitely to young boys, and even me now as a grown-ass man. And we would spend all day, filming it. I got caught. We'd spend all day filming it and making the video and editing it, and then we'd watch it back at the end, and we'd be like, haha, that was awesome. And then we'd do it again, and we keep doing it again. And I actually have a lot of these little videos, and they're not even cringe. They're not. They're actually awesome because they're so pure. They're so like just creative. They're just like, we had no like nothing to compare it to. There was nobody else sharing videos doing the same thing. So you couldn't like see someone else's shit and compare your own shit to it. And so we would it's like we would go see Ocean's 11 and we'd be like, that movie was so cool. And then we'd be like, we should make a movie like that. And then we'd make C's 11. Isn't that funny? And we'd make C's 11 and then it'd be kind of like a spy-ish movie. And we would just make some type of plot and try and make it. And it was more, I think, about the pursuit of attempting to make something. And that was it. And it was fun. That's what we spent all our time doing, is that sort of shit. So yeah, the video stuff has always like had this deep interest in me. And I've only noticed it over the past year, like kind of start to come out a little bit more, because I haven't really done it like at all since, I mean, I've vlogged the Millennium stuff for like a little bit, but I didn't really, once I went to college, I don't know. I was also in high school. In high school, I definitely still did it, because for like class projects and shit, you'd be like, here's oh my God, for psych, I was in AP Psych with my friends. We made a video, and the teacher had shown a video of what the assignment was: make a video, right? That had to explain some type of something, right, to the class. And so she shows our class, just don't do this. And it was the year before us made a video, and they were like, the main character, what was it? It was based off of Die Hard. And he's like at his home, and he hears like this like explosion or some sort of crazy natural disaster sound outside, and he goes, Skinner's box has been opened. And if you don't know, Skinner's box was a classical conditioning device, I believe. Should I check myself on that? Pull that up, Jamie. It is, operant conditioning chamber. That's what Skinner, the psychologist, used to operantly train the rats, I think. So it's definitely not a Pandora's box, but the character's like, Skinner's box has been opened. And then he just runs out of his house, and then it's like 10 minutes of him running through like the streets and into the woods, and people trying to kill him, and him shooting them back, and like that's it basically. And so like as a kid in high school, you're like, that's amazing. As a teacher assigning, an attempt at a learning exercise, that's not great. But being me and my friends, when we hear the teacher say, please don't do this, we go, that's exactly what we're going to do. So then we made a video doing the same thing. And it was about the different psychologists who, I don't even know how to sum this up. Basically, there was a lot of action, a lot of guns. And then at the end, we got the kid from our previous year who played the Skinner's box character to come back and show up in our film to save the day at the end. And so I remember when we played this in class and he shows up, the teacher's like, oh no. And so we were just loving our lives. Anyways, where I'm going is that the video thing has been a thing until I went to college, and I just kind of stopped. You don't have the same friends to do that shit with, and you start getting a little more heavier schedule. You're on your own. I also was trying to get a little more serious about music in college and diving into that stuff. So it's been absent from my life for like way too long, basically, is how it feels. And so I think, I want to say it was like 3 years ago, I made a vlog and I was like, there's going to be more of this. There's going to start doing more of this. And I just kind of never did it. And I don't know. I'm going to find my way back. It's going to happen how it's going to happen or whatever. I feel these feel like an attempt at that. All I know is that as long as I do some video stuff, I enjoy it. I enjoy doing it. I like tinkering with the tech and stuff too. So, oh yeah, that's right. Jacob Collier, he had cool videos. I like cool videos. Duh. That's where the rabbit hole went. See, that's the thing. Somehow I think I bring it back around. That was just my scruff on the mic for anyone listening. Yeah. Anyways, that is your assignments, is to check that out. Check out some of those things to learn something new, see the context, see what's going on in the jungle. You know what I'm saying? I think that's the only homework. So we're going to because we didn't do the homework last time, that will suffice for this time. And next time it'll be new stuff listening to. So there's not going to be, all I'm saying is that's it for that. Excuse me. Oh. Anyways, smother me, mother me. I think sometimes I just wake up thinking that because it's just truly poetic. It is the poetry that we all need in our lives. I started this feeling kind of like worn out. Because, like I said, I'm just kind of worn out from traveling. But I feel less worn out now. There's something I feel kind of like... I see why people like doing talks, doing podcasts, dare I say. There's a highness to it. It's like I'm kind of feeling euphoric. I don't know. It's kind of nice, right? Maybe it's just the act of not thinking about anything. It's not dwelling on anything. I'm over that shit. Doing far too much of that stuff. Oh my God, I forgot. On the same note of smother me, mother me, I'll make this the last Brian Eno quote. Because I'm sure I'm going to bring these up like every time. Because like I said, I just want that sweet man on his bald head. Here, this one, I remember I sent this one straight to Sadie because I was like, this is ridiculous. He says, do all men leave this life feeling they've seen nowhere near enough nude people, played with far too few private parts, made a pitifully inadequate contribution to the honeyed chorus of bottom slapping, tit-sucking, belly-bulging lust issuing from the planet, and generally not fulfilled by their once extremely promising experimental destiny? That observation rocks my world. Because, what led him to think about that? I don't know. I mean, it's sex, I guess. That's going through... What's the statistic on that? Sex goes through a man's head, 1,000 times a day. How... Let's see. Should we ask ChatGPT? I feel like we'll make ChatGPT our it's our in-house pull it up Jamie. How about that? It's fact, right? At this point, we all can accept it's the new Google, right? If I'm Googling anything, it's at least the same result. Obviously, I don't have time to cross-reference articles and information. I would just want the info, right? So I'm going to ask, how many times in a day do men think about sex? Oh, they're going to sidestep this one. The frequency can vary greatly depending on individual factors such as age. On average, what is the estimate that men think about sex each day? God damn it. See, this is where maybe Google's going to help me out. I take everything I said back about ChatGPT. You suck. Oh my God. Excuse me. Here's what we got. This is just the first result on Google. It says, research in college-age participants suggests that while men do think about sex more often than women, the subject crosses their mind an average of only about 19 times per day. Only about 19 times per day compared to 10 times per day for women. Only, honestly, 20 times. We're going to round up. 20 times. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't know if they're writing poetry about it the way Brian Eno is in this quote. But That sounds about right. I feel like that was like a stat that everybody knew in college or just for all of time. Now y'all know if you don't know. That goes on the list of inappropriate lines come up on this show, including Jungle Boy Boner and Smother Me, Mother Me. It's been good, though. This has been good. I feel good about it. I hope y'all feel good about it. I'm going to wind it down because I don't want to say Smother Me, Mother Me 100 more times. It's just where my head's at this point. It's been another Captain's Log. For anybody out there listening, I hope you have a great day, whatever day and time and year it is for you. And just keep keeping on, Keep trying to figure it out. I figured my way through a number of things today. Perhaps you did too. We need like a sign-off. We need like a little tagline. Just keep keeping on. Or no, wait, what did I say earlier? It was it will get where it goes. Yeah, that's tough. Keep figuring it out. We'll figure it out. Yeah. I'm gonna go drink some tea and try and rest up because the jungle is wrecking me out here. So this is Captain's Log signing off. Keep figuring it out.